Alrighty. Alrighty. Doc here from North America. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. It is Monday, TGIM. Thank goodness it's Monday. Mr. Biden has removed himself to be in the running to be the next president of the United States. And I've been looking at the charts, trying to see. I'm looking for the what I'd like to call the 9/11 distortion. Back in 2001, we had a terrorist attack in the United States. We call it 9/11 because it was in September 11th, and and our charts and our algorithm was screaming at us for a good solid 3 weeks. That the markets were breaking down. They hadn't started breaking down, but they were just reflecting lots of weakness, and we were short hundreds of thousands of shares of diamonds and Qs and spiders, and all the stock indices. Maybe about 350,000 shares total, just flat out short, leaning up against other products in a sense, like stock portfolios, but not all of it. So in the end result is that I kept on going. It was like going on 4 weeks. I guess it was 3 weeks, and it was I went to the World Trade Center on Sunday afternoon before it fell down, before it was collapsed, and was there for a party, a New York Jets football opening day party. And I'd been short for I did the short side hedge for a hedge fund, and I did both sides, long and short. But at that point I was just leaning totally short because the math kept on screaming, just screaming that it was going down. And I remember buying, I think, 50 or 100,000 shares on Monday morning, saying, I've made so much money in this thing, I should at least cover something, because the math kept on telling me that it wants to go down, and it looked very distorted. It didn't look normal whatsoever for those weeks. It was very odd, just totally odd. And then, of course, Tuesday morning comes along, and everything falls apart, collapses. So, I was thinking about that this morning. And I thought, I didn't really go back and look at the charts that close, but I had a suspicious feeling that something was odd over the last 2 weeks. There was something odd going on the chart pattern. I could see it, and our algorithm was confirming it. That's the thing. And it was like, why is the dollar acting this way, and why is gold acting this way, and why are the grains acting a certain way? They were acting incredibly weak. We were seeing a lot of weakness in many different directions. And so, obviously they attempt to shoot Mr. Trump over the holiday, I guess you could say. Hey, Janos, I just tuned in on the chat line. Hey, Robin, could you comment on the general market direction? We appear to have had a sell-off over the last week, but there are signs of a recovery. Hey, traders. Sure. And that's funny. I started doing that without looking at the chat line. So, we've been having some really strange sell-offs or twists and turns. Gold was being bought. All the grains, the soybeans, corn, wheat, everything was being pushed down over the last couple of weeks. It seemed a little odd to me, but it was like it had. Let's put it this way: I can say that it definitely had some characteristics of September 11th, 2001. It had some flavor to that. It did. It really did, but not as pronounced. Not as loud, not as obvious. Whereas I just stood and stared at that chart and went, this makes no sense. And I'm short like 350,000 shares. I'm making buku dollars. I kept on thinking, something's not right, but, the math keeps on saying to be short. And then finally, I remember, like I said on Monday, I think I bought 50,000. I don't think I bought 100,000. I thought I bought 50,000. And so I thought to myself, I don't care. It's not going into a daily buy or a weekly buy. I'm just covering some of this. I just can't take it. It's making too much money, and it just doesn't seem, right. You should take some of that money off the table. So, as I always say here at Dukascopy, I always say, if you don't take a if you don't take your position off when you're making money or you have a profit, then the next time you're taking it off is when you have a loss. So take a profit. And so, I did, and it did. And the charts were truly incredibly distorted. And my math kept on saying down, 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 and I kept on saying, this is crazy. This makes no sense. Why aren't they bouncing? And back then there was no quantitative easing. So, in other words, money was scared, and money was reading the flow. The specialists at the New York Stock Exchange and the market makers and around the country were, for NASDAQ and so forth, they were feeling the pressure. The trick was when they used to run the market, which they don't anymore. Quantitative easing does now. But when you run the markets like that and the books on it, what you do is, when people are trying to sell you something, you lower your bid. I know this is like an alien concept nowadays with quantitative easing, because quantitative easing, the Fed goes in there and buys. They don't try to buy a bargain. They just buy. And they do it what we call with stupid money. That's what we used to call it on the trading floor, stupid money. And, it really did jump out that way. And so I thought to myself, how much or who knew, because at this point it's becoming almost like it's a total conspiracy theorist thing now with the shooting, And so, they got rid of over 50% of the Secret Service that day, and there was 7 other agencies besides the Secret Service, so 8 agencies there going in all kinds of directions, like a bunch of, banging into each other. It was like collision cars. So they were doing all kinds of ridiculous stuff. So, that's what's, matter of fact, there's going to be investigation started this morning, and it's going to be televised, I would assume, about the, the whole thing, So, yeah, that's really where it comes down to. So, right now, the markets, my titles to, some of the webinars that we've done here over the last couple of weeks really does say what's going on. It says, markets are watching Biden, markets are watching, the political debate. Markets are waiting for some clarity on the Democrat side. They were watching the convention. They saw, they have a very strange opinion about Mr. Trump. They think he's like, some type of maniac or something like that. They think he's like, totally, dumb from the neck up, And so, which he's not. It's the opposite way around. The guy's very, very smart. And so, what I see now, what the math is trying to tell us, what the markets have been showing us, is that it's trapped in the election cycle. And let's go, let's just take a look at, let's go over to it, Dukascopy. Let's go like right there. You can see here, that they've been lifting the market up. Let's use one of these. Pretty much, they started off Sunday night, and they've been lifting, they tried to bring it down to unchanged, and now they're back up to 87. They're up to like 30 some odd handles. I really, I do a radio show on Saturday, every Saturday. Not every Saturday, I'm sorry. Once a month I do a radio show. It's on the internet. You can see it there. And I actually have a camera on me. You can actually see me talking. Not talking about the markets, I'm talking about the politics all the time. And what it really comes down to is that the markets are watching, and there was a real strong opinion out there that if Trump had gotten killed, that there would have been an incredible amount of unrest. I'm not sure if they're right or not, but we've seen the Democrats have two organizations, Black Lives Matter and Antifa. Antifa uses the Nazi. It's the weirdest thing. They use the Nazi flag without the Nazi symbol on it. So it's got it's a lot of Hitler graphics in it. It's very strange, and the media talks like they're like these upstanding citizens and they're defending America, and they're at the same time they're waving a flag that Nazi Germany used to wave. Not the red one with the SWAT sticker in the center of it. It's the other one with the round circle. So it's like you have Antifa and you have Black Lives Matter, and so there was serious talk that if he had been shot, that they would have been rioting in the streets, because the media pretends that they're peaceful. They've burned billions of dollars worth of businesses and homes and buildings and courthouses and stuff like that, and they get really nuts, and there's Molotov cocktails, and they literally, like CNN and MSNBC or whatever they call it, MSNBC, and the mainstream media, ABC, NBC, CBS, Reuters, Bloomberg, CNBC, they all run pictures of these organizations like as if they're peaceful. Like, oh, no, they're real peaceful people. They're not doing anything. They're standing there and there's like fires burning in the background, and they just go, oh, someone obviously lit a fire. They'll say something like that. Yeah. So, I looked at the charts this morning, thinking, that is there a distortion in there? Because I've been feeling the distortion in the math, but it wasn't very pronounced. It wasn't very robust. As they would say in physics, it's not very robust. It's not very strong. But it was there though. I saw it. So now you see the strength. There's the the S&P 500. They're moving it back up to the 6,000 area the way things are rolling there. Let's do this one instead. There's the short-term one. You see that? It's banging against that. It's funny that 5,591 is that line we've had there for months. Oh, here we go. Yana says, Doc, could you look and give us an outlook for the following instruments: SPY, Amazon, and NVDA. Okay, yeah, let's go take a look at it. This is the SPY. This is the future of it. You can see it's been climbing basically all night. So it's going from 60 to 90. It's like 300 points in the Dow. It's pretty good. All right, let's go over to and look what Janos is talking about there. Let's go take a look at. Let's see. Let's open up a few things to that. So let's go open workspace. And let's find, let's see, what was the first one you looked about? SPY. So let me open that right there. And let's go to SPY. There we go. There's SPY right there. You see it's been in a sell for a couple of days now. It's still in the weekly buy. It's flirting with the sell a little bit, but still in that weekly buy. And you can see it's higher today than it was yesterday, or Friday, that is. So there's, it's in a sell. It's trying to get going. We'll see if it gets into a daily buy or not. We're banging against that on the futures contract. We're playing around. Excuse me. We're playing around with that 5,091. That has been a big base of support and resistance for months. Let's go show it to you. Let's go back to that again, because it's live. You can see that line right there. That's 591. It went up and hit it. And let me just show you what it did last week with it. It was really funny to watch. Yeah, you can see there's the, was that? That's last night. So they ran up to it. No, that's not it. That's not it. It's back further. So it's right there. Let's do that again right there. It's hitting it now. So let's show you what it did last week with it, which was fascinating. And it'll jump out because the line will come up. There it is again. See how it fell from at that time right there. Ran up, tried to support it. See, it supports it there. Resists it there. Supports it there. Resists it there. You know, plays with it there. It rotates around it. Let's throw another day in there so you can see. You know, it did it for a couple of days now. It's been fascinating to watch it do it. Do it. Do it. There's a point where it just becomes lackadaisical in that area. This is on Thursday, I guess it is. This is Thursday of last week? Yeah, Thursday. So it didn't challenge it then, I don't believe. It was Friday that they challenged it. Oh, yeah. Okay, there it is. They did. So it went down to it almost on Thursday. Bounced, didn't challenge it, and then came back and did challenge it and played with it again. And again, that line's been on there for months. We watched it, you know, like a month and a half back. Then it gets to a, let's just use the arrow. There we go. So it doesn't herky jerk. So it's around 95, 5,595. Goes and hits it again. Bounces off of that area and it goes underneath it again. And then finally it starts to resist it and they sell it off from it. And then it comes back up there again. And that is last Friday too. This is last Friday. Look at that. Is that last Friday? No, that's last Thursday. Still doing it again. You know, bouncing around it. Dying on that line, you know, breaking the line again, going down. That should be probably, that's then Friday starts right. We should probably be seeing Friday any second now. And I think it goes up and challenges it on Friday again. There it goes. Hits it. Now it's adhered to it almost. Look at that. It's like, you know, riding all over it. This is Friday. And it jumps back over to 5,600 again from it. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Let's keep on pushing on that. So now this is the SPY really. This is just the futures contract. And you see how it parked itself on that line. And then, you know, they close it out on Friday. Look at it. Look at that one. It just goes on for, I don't know, what is that? 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It just sits on it. Does it again there. Keeps on banging it. That one was pretty blatant. I remember that on Friday. I was looking at that and going, this is really crazy. You know, and so it keeps on doing it all the way to the close of Friday. There you go. Oh, and you know what? That was Thursday. That was still all Thursday. They played with that thing over and over on Thursday. Then here's Friday. You know, it goes there. You can see it starts off in the European hours, and then they start to smash it down, and then you can see they try to bring it back again. They're playing with that area. So that is definitely a strong resistance and support area. So that would go underneath the category of when you say, could you comment on the general market direction? Right there it tells us when you're watching the 5,591 area on the S&P 500 on the futures side, you know, it's locked on it. It is adhered to it constantly over and over and over again. All right, now let's go look at Amazon. Well, we'll show you how it broke through it on Friday again after jumping up. And there it goes there. It breaks it. This time it becomes the resistance. You see it right there. It refuses to climb through it. Look at that. The way it just keeps on hitting it on Friday. Then it goes back up to 600 again. You know, for hours it just kept on hitting it. And then they broke it down again. You can see, again, it just rides that thing. That's why the little white dotted line is in there, how it's riding it over and over like a chicken on a rotisserie. And all Friday we saw that action over and over again until it finally rolled over. You know, I guess the Biden thing was getting into the market but it wasn't very clear what it was. Money was starting to dry up on Biden's party. That's what it came down to. So they had to get rid of him. And so there it is. All right. So now, let me just respin it like that. There we go. All right. Now, from there, let's go to the SPY again. Right there. There's the SPY. And, it's showing strength. It looks fine. It's trying to get up. But our algorithm is in the sell still. Our weekly hasn't broken down yet. So, there's hope. Hope is eternal. So there's SPY. Now let's go take a look at Amazon. Amazon. It's Amazon. Is it in here? Error mark. Let's go put it in where that TTD thing is. Let's see. It's dinging, 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 dinging. There we go. And to you. All right. Let's go where the Google is. We'll replace Google with it. That sounds like fun. You see, Google's there is up also. They're buying. Everything's being bought again. I'm trying to see if there was that sell-off. They call it a rotation, which kind of makes sense. It looks to me like a rotation, but I am curious. Like I said, I see some odd distortions in the algorithm, but nothing pronounced like September 11th, 2001. Now here you can see the Amazon is trying to go into the weekly sell as we speak, and it's been in a daily sell all the way back into here, I guess you could say, right there. Let's put a line in there. So it's been in a daily sell there, Amazon, and now it's playing with the weekly sell. And I would say yes, it could be a rotation, and we've talked about this here on Thursday and Friday because the Russell 2000 has been running like a mad animal on the upside. It's up 15-20%, something like that. Last week it was up 11%, even with the Tech 100 and the S&P 500 in a minus. The Dow Jones Industrial Average and the Russell 2000 were in pluses for the week. So that there's some clarity to that, or let's say there's some justification saying yes, there's a definite distortion going on. To me, what it really looked like, and I think I did mention this. It reminds me of a pairs trade. It's like we're looking at it and we're going, well, wait a minute. They're buying the old mainline stocks, the staples as they would say, and they're selling off the big winners, and so they seem to be doing it as a pairs trade every day. So, in other words, when one side is up, the other side is down, and vice versa. So it reminded me of a pairs trade. All right, now from there, let's take a look at NVDA. NVDA. Oh, I got to put the weekly in there on the Amazon. I just realized that I did not do that. Yeah, breaking down the same way. It almost got into the sell on Friday. Was it a minus? It was 000 or ZZZ, and plot 4 was ZZZ, and the fast was in a minus. So I mean, that's usually a solid sign of weakness there. So that's the Amazon, and then NVDA. Let's take a look at NVDA. Right there. That's been in a daily sell. Let's steal one of these right there. It's been in a daily sell since right here. And at the same time, you can see it's been in a weekly sell now for, going on almost a full week of last week. But, it confirmed it last week, but it broke down there at this little plateau right there. It went into the weekly sell. And it hasn't really fallen much. It's pretty hard to imagine NVDA breaking down too hard. It would take like a crash of '87 type of environment type thing, which lately I'm starting to wonder, if that's what's trying to happen. Oh, excuse me. But the difference is that the quantitative easing really stops that stuff. That's why we had the V bottom. I kept on talking about the V bottom in 2020. Back in late January going into February, we screamed and yelled about V bottom, V bottom, V bottom, V bottom. And the stock market lost 35% over those 3 weeks. And then the V bottom occurred. Everybody was trying to tell you, maybe next year it'll come back. I was like, no, it's coming back now. And we were here on the webinar. Robin and I were like, V bottom, it's coming back now, baby. Don't be short. And they wiped out those 5 put funds. And once they got rid of those things, I kept on saying that they were the titles of the webinars back then. It was like, once they get these funds bankrupt and gone, they're going to V-bottom this puppy, and she's going to go right back. And they did, and they made new all-time highs. So there's the NVDA. Now, coin, there are news of it probably moving to 270. Well, let's put it in there and see. Let's check out the coin. I used to follow that, too. Why don't we put it in? Where should we put it in? Let's put it in here, right where the Amazon is. Oh, TTD. What the hell's TTD? There's TTD. It's trying to go into a weekly sell. Let's put it in there. Coin. COIN. There it is right there. Coin. Ote. I believe that I stopped following it because there was some problems with the stock itself. COIN coin. All right, so coin went into a weekly buy last week. Oop, right there, you can see that. It had been bouncing around. It went into a daily buy right there. And did it get in? It got into a sell, I guess, right there. It's kind of sloppy. Look, the marijuana stocks. Oh, no, wait a minute. That's not marijuana stock. This is a, what do you call it? It's a crypto. It's a crypto exchange. It's a wallet. So it closed in the buy on Friday. And it was in a weekly buy, so you don't want to be short, that's for sure. What else can we say about it? It gets sloppy. There's that sell there. Then it goes back into a buy, like right there. Rides up. Let's take that and move it over. Then it went into the sell. Let's put a sell in here. There's your sell right there. Is that a sell? It's not a sell. It's the next day. So I went into the sell right here and tried to go down and failed at it, and then it jumped back into the buy right there after a gap up. Wasn't a sell, so you could have been caught on that one. That could be a loss. So more than likely, with it being in a buy and a daily buy, and you can't take the shorts there, you want to be long all the time in here. So I'd say it's trying to go up. And what did you say, 270? I think you said 270. There are news of it probably moving to 270. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that very easily. That does not surprise me whatsoever. 270 sounds like a potential area with no problem whatsoever. Let's just go back and look at it tightly. I mean, that was a $300 stock at one point. So yeah, we're playing with the upside of it. It hasn't been a $300 stock for a while. But let's go back and take a look and see. You can see it went into the sell here. That was not too bad. And then it went into a buy for this move up. And then it went into the sell here for this move down. And then it started to get a little lost. Goes into a buy, goes into a sell, goes back into a buy again. And then it pushes itself in a sell here. Right there. And then back into a buy the following week. It's really chopping into a sell. And then back into a buy again. It's yeah, with that type of beta action, it's moving into a high beta situation. 270 sounds fine. Sounds fine. Let me go take a look at it on the other screen and see what it shows us. COIN coin. Let's go look at it. A 5-year look. Yeah. There we are. See if we can get this thing to do just that. Let's show it to you. For you. There's a daily chart. Or is that a weekly chart? It's a weekly chart at this point. You can see it's playing around with this base in here and trying to lift through it. Right there was 3. Where did it get to there? It was like 332. Right? What's the high there? The high there is $368, almost $369. So yeah, I could see this thing. You can see now it's playing with it. It's doing what that 5,591 is. It's starting to find a way to bounce and turn up. It's like, I guess the 200 is it. And here we are at 261. Could it get to 270? I would probably say yeah. Especially being in a daily buy and a weekly buy. Yeah. Yeah. And so, there's the coin. From the coin, we go over to this week. Okay. You really think it could hit 6,000? Questionable. Oh, what? The S&P 500? Well, if Trump gets elected, yeah, I could see him going to 6,000 by the end of his presidency with no problem at all. No problem at all. Probably going into the first, starting off in the second year or something like that. That would not surprise me at all. Got it. Dealing with issues and countryside, the market can change direction. Lucky me, should have dumped all before heading out. Yeah, I hear you. When you're not able to observe and watch, why don't you just, well, we've talked about this, maybe, go to somebody that has binaries, where, somebody, can you use your firm to trade, or do you have to use somebody else's firm or something like that? Or you're maybe not even allowed to trade, I don't know. But the end result is that you should be neutralized. When you go away, you should have your position neutraled. So in other words, long call, short put. I'm sorry, vice versa. Long put, short call against your long stock. Should be a collar put around it. That's what they call it, a collar. Yep, that's the answer to that one. I'm just ultra bad luck since early 23. Yeah, well, you're busy. You got other things to deal with. Yeah, I agree with you. Don't, when in doubt, stand to the side and paper trade. That's usually a good move, Paper trade it. And then after a while, you build up your confidence and tools and direction, and that's the name of the game there, really, in the end. That is the name of the game. All right, did I answer everything? I tried to. All right, now from there, from there, let's go over to the other chart again. Yeah, let's do that. We'll get the beta up there too. Where is the beta? Let's get the beta up on the screen. There we go. Sort of. I missed coin. The rest are clear. Okay, well, let me go back to coin. Well, coin is up on the screen. Coin is still there. I say yes. I say I could see it going to 70. I don't see much of a problem, especially now that it's in a weekly buy already, going on a second week of a weekly buy, and it's in a daily buy. I think yes. Let's see. Heading down. Yeah, they are. They're feeling the pressure. It's that rotation thing, you know. Guys at the office were discussing gold. The paper hold shorts, but it booked another new high. Yeah, that were. Let's go to gold. Here's gold right there. Yeah, we're in a weekly buy still for this is the fourth week now starting. We were in a daily sell on Friday. They went down a little bit today, but we're in a weekly buy. So I mean, it's like you don't really want to get short this thing. There's pressure on the upside. South African Rand. Let's take a look at the South African Rand. The Rand is heading down the last I saw it. There's the South African Rand. It's sideways. They don't really have a clear direction. We don't know if that's politics or what with them, because that country is so upside down now. The ANC is a partner in the parliament now, not in charge. I mean, they are in charge, but it's a coalition. So the Zulus and the DA, Democratic Association, they are linked together. And then the ANC only has 39% of the parliament. So they need the DA and the Zulu Nation to be, remember, Zulus were not involved in apartheid. They did their own thing. They had no problems because they're indigenous. Apartheid was a immigration thing. People don't realize that. It wasn't a race thing. It was an immigration thing. That's what it was. Immigration. And people don't understand that. They claim that it was racist, and it wasn't racist. It was immigration. It was against the Afrikaners allowed illegal immigrants to have a half a vote. That's what it came down to. But obviously the Zulu Nation had no problem. They had a full vote because they're not white. They were Zulus. They were Africans. But they were from South Africa. So they had a full vote. And so now they are partnered up with the DA, which is part of the. I think they're more. The DA is way more conservative than the old Afrikaner party. The Afrikaner party was a cross between socialism, like Europe, like socialism and stuff like that. So, that's why they gave them half a vote. So, but we can see here it's not giving us any real insight. Let's see. Also, this popped on my feed. SMETA through 485 can run to 500 by early next week. Calls can work above 485. Okay, what is SEM through? What is S? Let me copy that and then Google it. I don't know what that is. Google. Gaga Google. Stock ticker. It's a stock ticker. Okay. Meta. Oh, it's Meta. Okay. Buy and hold and sell. So it's Meta. Let's go look at Meta. Here comes Meta. I can put it on the beta too. I believe we have it on the beta. We have it on the beta? Let's put it on the beta too. What's it? META? Yeah. META. All right, and then let's give it the user's thing and open it up. So there. All right, now users, charts, and Meta. Right there. What? Let's see. Try that again. Someone must be working on the beta as we speak. Let's see if Apple's in there. Apple shows up. There's Apple this morning. Let's show you. And let me put Meta up on this. No, I opened the wrong one. Let me close that. That's bean oil. Close. Yes. Open. No. Yes. There we are. Here's Meta. And let me get Meta on the other one too. Huh. I thought I okayed it. Let me go back to it again. Products. Yeah, you have access to it. We're good. There's Spy. Spy's opening up. We're not getting it on the beta at the moment. All right, here's Meta on this one. It's trying to get into a buy today. It's been in a weekly sell since up in here, since the 510 area. All right. You can see the pressure on it. We'll see if it bounces back up. I could see it easy. What number did you give it? Let me go take a look and see again. 485 through 485 up to 500. Well, let's put the 485 in there and see how it acted at the 485. Let's go like this. Let's scroll it back and see how it's traded through there. Yeah, see how it sat on it back there in April. Look at that. The 485 became resistance, then it became support right there, see? Became big support. And then it tried to get there again back in May. You see it did it there and then jumped across it in June and then broke down again. So that 485 area seems to be very important. I agree with you. Not sure why I'm not getting it on the screen. There we are. Okay. Let's see. All right, so yeah, I don't see that. That's not much of a challenge. What did you say, 500 area? Or 520? 500, yeah, that's nothing. It seems like it should be able to get there. You see it's rode it before. This is very important to 485. You can see that the way it's been acting on the 485. That tells you right there alone. Probably a Fibonacci thing. You know, ever since the Federal Reserve and has started the QE, ever since they started QE, the markets trade so much more technically better over the last 15 years. They really have. 15 years? 14 years? 14 years. Wait a minute. QE started at the end of 2008, as soon as Mr. Obama won. Right before it. A couple of days or weeks and he's polling a big win. So '08. Let's go with '09 because it was November, December. So '09 to 19 is 10 years, and another 5 is 14. So ever since QE 14 years back, technical analysis has been way more accurate. The old technical tools. My math has stayed the same. It's okay. Yeah, it's always in that 86 percentile area of success. So, all right, traders. Is that it? If not, if so, then what I will do is I will now start to go take a look at some of the other things like the euro. See what the Great Experiment is up to today. I was explaining to somebody about the Great Experiment. It was, or maybe I was doing it on here on Friday. I feel so bad for the Turkish population, how much that experimentation has cost them. All right, so from there, we go over to, let's get rid of that. Close. Yes. And then let's go to here. Take a look at the currencies real quick. There is the euro. The euro is in a daily sell for a second day. And you can see we're in a weekly buy for 3 weeks now. It's playing with it. It's just sloppy. I think it's gonna rotate around this blue line, I think. Go down to the 108s, up to the, what is that? That's like the one, well, it looks like it's going past that. It's making higher highs. So, but if there's going to be any rotation, I think it's just, it'll bounce off that blue line more instead of rotating around it. From there, we'll go to the cable. There's the cable. You can see that. That's looking very fine. It's 3 days in a sell and 4 weeks in a buy. So they again, the markets are staring at the election. They're staring at the chaos of the Democrat Party. And so there's not much more you can say but that. That's pretty much the way it goes, and it's going to keep on doing it until the end. We have 90 days now, basically. We have 9 days left, or what do we have? 8 days left in this month, or 7 days, I guess you could say. 8 days left in this month. We have all of August, all of September, and all of October. So we're looking at 98 days, and then the election's on November 5th. So there's 103 days. We're looking at 103 days, basically, or 102 days, something like that. So, they're going to be staring at the political process. The markets are. Now, they are, excuse me, sorry about that. They are rotating. There's no doubt about it. They're getting out of the big profitable ones, but they're not. They're still massively up for the year, all these stocks. Microsoft, the Significant 7. Right now, I think all the Significant 7, let's look it up. Let's put it over here. And I would say that the Significant 7 is significant. They're like carrying the whole market. It's amazing. The Magnificent 7, that's what it is. The Magnificent 7. All right, it's Microsoft, Tesla, NVDA, Amazon, Meta, Apple, Alphabet. That's 9. What the hell is that all about? 2 more. From sources across the web, Microsoft, Amazon, and Apple. Let's show you what I'm looking at here. Right there. All right, what they did is they took a big chunk out of those stocks. Those stocks are up fantastic for the year, though. Fantastic. Let's see if it says how much. There it is. Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Nevada, and Tesla, and Meta. So that's 3. That's 7. Okay. And does it say how much it's up? They're up. I mean, like Nevada is up. I don't know, like 300%, 400%. I don't know, something like that. Here it is. Apple's up 6.18. Microsoft is up 702. Alphabet was up 423. Nevada, this might be just for the month. says here, Magnificent Seven comprised huge portion of major indices such as the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq or Tech 100, meaning that their performance has outsized impact on these markets, cap-weighted indexes. Here's how much the S&P 500 they are comprise according to. Oh, okay, that's what they comprise in there. Basically, it says 29%. Add up to almost 29% of the S&P 500 performance, almost a third of it. And you can see here, it's these, Apple is 6% of it, 7%, Alphabet, Novartis 5%, Tesla's 1%, Meta's 2%. And I guess what is it here? Weighting is even more lopsided. It says here 70. Meanwhile, as it says, add up those components, and these 7 stocks deliver 29% to the S&P 500. Meanwhile, the S&P 500, other 490 stocks deliver 71%. As great as this weighting is, it's even more lopsided in the Nasdaq 100. Total 7. In the Nasdaq, it's 41% of the index. That's the Tech 100. The weighting is down significantly for above 50% because Nasdaq index institutional specialists rebalancing in mid-23. The rebalancing was intended to reduce the massively outsized impact the handful of stocks have on the index. Yeah, so and they're up for the year too. I mean, they're not down for the year. What they did is they sold some of it. Sold some and rotated into the S&P 500 and rotated into the Russell 2000 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average. I showed this at the end of last week. Let me just show you last week's products on this screen here. So let's see. Right there. There's the S&P 500. It was down for the week. We talked about this on Friday, and then here's the Nasdaq Tech 100. It's also down for the week, much steeper. And then you see it's in a weekly sell there from last week, whereas the S&P was not. Then from there we go over to the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It's still in a weekly buy with not much of a problem. It had a down Thursday and Friday, but there is Monday. So, and this is where it was last Friday. So it was up for the week, whereas the other two products were down for the week. And then you go and look at the Russell 2000 right there. You can see the moonshot this thing's had from the 2050 area to the 2300 area, over 10% move. You can see the same thing on Thursday and Friday. It felt some pain. Actually, Wednesday it sold off a little bit too, but it went into the buy on Thursday, and then there's Friday, and then we are not looking at it yet. They're not trading it yet. So that's the action we're seeing with these magnificents, and pretty much everybody's paying attention to them. So it just fits in there. All right, let's finish off the currencies, and then we're going to get out of here. So there's GBP. Let's take a look at the Swiss. There's the Swiss. It's trying to get into a buy today. Did it get into the weekly buy last week? It did get into the weekly buy last week. So it went into the weekly buy, and now it's heading right back down into the weekly sell. And it's in a daily sell, but it's flirting with a daily buy. It's really all over the place. Yeah, markets are watching the politics, and the politics is freaking everybody out. It's just the way it goes. Just the way it goes. Dun, da, da, da. So, where do we go from here? There's the yen. At least that's gotten downwardly sloped. That's positive, but it's trying to get into the daily buy today, and it did close in. No, it didn't close in the weekly sell, and it's trying to get into the weekly sell this week. Good. It would be good for it. Remember, when the yen goes down, it's gaining against the dollar. It's gotten beaten up pretty bad from the Japanese experimentation, how to run an economy, or better called the $20 trillion swap. From there, we go over to Turkish lira, flirting with all-time highs. It did get there last week, went to all-time highs again, and it's starting to get into the sell. So some of them were taking some of that wins that they got off, but it's still in a weekly buy for going for a quarter of the year now. 3 solid months. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. This will be the 12th week in a buy. And then we sold a South African rand. So that's the name of the game of all this. Right there, South African rand. Kind of moving in the wrong direction, which usually says that there's going to be pressure on gold. And we're seeing the pressure on the gold. We saw it the last 2 days. Right there. Right there. That's it. That's the name of the game. All right, traders. We've got to come up with a title for today. And we'll get out of here. So, what should we say about today? What was today all about, basically? When the markets are trapped in the election and they're just going to chop around, there'll be some buying, there'll be some selling, it'll go back and forth. There is not a lot of conviction to these markets. So I think we're going to call today. Let's see, what are we going to call today? Let me go back to that again. There it is right there. So we're going to say it's got something to do with the election. Locked on the election. All right, traders, we're out of here. This is Doc saying happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails. And that'll be Monday. Happy trails to you, to all our trading friends. Later, traders. Have a safe and smart trading day. Doc saying over and out.